Excuse me, is this seat taken? Thanks. Yeah, there are more available seats further back, but there are some pretty noisy people back there. Night owls, I bet. It's quieter here. You look about as tired as I feel. Had a long day? Yeah, me too. How far are you going? All the way to Southgate? Oh, you got me beat then. I'm only going to Rivertown, and I thought that was far enough for a commute. If you want me to be quiet, I will. I'll leave you alone if you just want to close your eyes and enjoy the relative silence. But if a bit of late night small talk might make the first half of your journey go by a bit faster, I can certainly oblige. I can ramble on and on. I'll probably ramble you right to sleep. My mind is never quiet. Alright, I'll keep talking then, as long as you don't mind. That's very kind of you to say. I'm glad you find my voice calming. Where do you work? Or are you a student? With that commute, I hope they let you work from home a few days a week, at least. I'm still a student, yes. Hollow artist and game dev, and that's the dream at least. Yes, programming, there's a lot of that. But I'm also a writer and a designer. What I like best is world building. We are so close to creating really immersive 3D environments that you can walk around in without VR glasses or helmets, with proper interactive stories and environments. Stories that the player can shape. Multiple endings, lots of replayability. I want to create escapes. No fighting or battles. No min-maxing, no stats. Just exploring another world at your own pace. I want my creations to have a strong sense of place, like my favorite games that I played when I was a kid. I suppose you could call them walking simulators, but that would be an understatement. There's plenty of interaction, plenty of things to do, just not fighting. No health bar, no fall damage, no dying. Just a beautiful, lush place. An island, for example. Or something else that is a world unto itself, full of interesting people with their own culture. A city, a couple of villages, forests and plains, plenty of mysteries, nature sounds and a relaxing soundtrack. You can just explore. Take on odd jobs, build a reed boat, choose an occupation, stay for as long as you like. Yes, pre-industrial, with just a touch of magic. A peaceful place. That's the kind of holo games I would like to make anyway. No modern locations, fantasy worlds, all the way. When you live in a megacity, you don't see much nature. Do you ever consider how unusual that is? No, not for us, of course. I mean, when you think about human history as a whole. For 90% of our history, there was a vast wilderness everywhere, and here and there, a tiny human settlement. What they called cities back then, we would consider villages now. Back on old Earth, I mean, yes. Now we've flipped it around completely. The megacity spans most of the continent. A vast jungle of concrete, lights, people, technology, and here and there, a little green island, a park or a wildlife sanctuary for the species we brought with us. I want to flip it back in my games. Lots and lots of nature to explore, and the occasional village or roadside inn to rest in. This planet was terraformed from scratch, of course, so it's not like we destroyed something that was here before us. And we could have made it all just one big city, right? With farming underground. But people want nature, even today. That's why the city has so-called green lungs. The parks, the sanctuaries and zoos as well. And trees. Many city streets have trees, hedges, flowers. And people have plants in their homes, of course. We could have done without it. The air we breathe, the atmosphere, everything is controlled, artificial, and stable. But we want plants around us, birdsong, and the sense that there is a big, unexplored forest out there somewhere, beyond the city limits. A little touch of magic. Oh no, not at all. I wouldn't want to live in such a world for real. I like this city. I like this planet. I like looking out on all the lights in the darkness from my tiny balcony and think of all the little humans out there, each and every one of them with their own complicated lives to live. I also quite like the convenience of being able to buy anything I want or order anything to be delivered. Besides, there's always a new trend, a new shop, a restaurant, a festival. I like how I can seek out whatever interests me and leave the rest be. We are very privileged here. But sometimes I just want an escape, to be somewhere completely different. And it seems I have to make those other worlds myself. But that's years in the future for me. And once I'm done with my studies, I will probably have to work a few years at least for someone else before I can strike out on my own. In the meantime, I'll try to enjoy the city as much as possible. What about you? Told me what you do, but do you enjoy it? I think most jobs and studies have a certain level of grind to them, some more and some less, but it's always there. I don't expect to always like the job I get when I'm done, even if it's exactly what I wanted. Maybe I'll discover that I don't like that kind of work at all. Maybe making it a job will take all the joy out of it. Or maybe I'll never get the chance to try. All of the things I imagine doing in the future, it might never happen. But I have this interest, this passion, and I'm going to give it a try at least. And then we'll see. Nothing is for certain. Not even in a world where every gust of wind and every little rainfall is pre-programmed. So I try to seize the day, as the old saying goes. Every morning I make a to-do list for the day. The last point on the list is always a question. What can you do to make this day a little bit better? Sometimes it's buying a favorite meal or helping out another person. Sometimes it's checking out a new spot in the city or some sort of event. That's what I've done tonight, and that's why I'm going home so late. I visited a small street art and light festival. Yes, that's the one. The Neon Pulse Art Jam. You've heard of it then? Oh, it was beautiful. Well worth visiting. The street artists had used graffiti. Is that still what it's called? They had drawn on walls and drawn with chalk on the street, and they used holograms and light displays to enhance their art, project it into the air so it came to life all around you. Shimmering, luminescent flowers of light growing out of the ground all around you, and you could walk in between them. I make a point of always visiting light festivals to remind myself of why I'm studying what I'm studying, what I love about it. Walking among those hollow flowers today, I just imagined how great it would be if they were part of a larger story, if they grew in a world you could explore with its own history and people. Sometimes I've thought of it as a sort of spirituality, creating stories, giving meaning to pure light, or to anything really. We can control our own environment almost completely. We can travel the stars, terraform new worlds, but we still need to believe in something. Horoscopes, tarot cards, good and bad luck, things that were meant to be, fate even. Some meaning or design underlying everything, something not of our own making. It's part of the human soul, I think. I'm not religious, no, but I am spiritual. No, I don't think it's a contradiction. Not at all. you can be one and not the other. Look, I believe in making this world of science and technology more meaningful by a slight shift in perspective, alright? I believe in that. Even death can be meaningful. I don't believe we go on in any way, not as ourselves. I believe we just dissolve. We are our physical bodies, biology, cells, molecules. Yes, I think so. It is difficult to believe in anything else these days, and our bodies should dissolve when we die and go back to the earth, the universe, or whatever. We will not be us anymore. We will not be conscious, but the molecules that right now make up our bodies will still exist, scattered throughout the world. I think that's a comforting thought. Nothing ever disappears. It's just taken apart and reformed into something else. If you think of it that way, you've always existed. This is just the first time you're all in one place. This got really deep, didn't it? I must have kept you awake rather than lulled you to sleep. If that is the case, you have my apologies. My stop is coming up, so I better go. It was nice to meet you. I hope you have a good rest of your night, and that you find one little thing every day that can make that day a little bit better.